if a time-traveling portal suddenly deposited a diverse ecosystem of Mesozoic dinosaurs into the modern world, completely devoid of human interference, they would not find a uniform paradise. The popular imagination often paints the age of dinosaurs as a singular sweltering tropical greenhouse, but in reality, the Mesozoic era spanned roughly 180 million years and encompassed radically shifting climates. To answer whether dinosaurs could survive in today's weather and climate, we must dismantle the myth of the monolithic dinosaur and examine how specific groups would fare against modern atmospheric conditions, temperatures, and revolutionize plant life. One of the immediate hurdles for resurrected Mesozoic life would be the composition of modern air. Though contrary to the popular belief that dinosaurs would suffocate in today's atmosphere, many would likely breathe just fine. During the Jurassic and early Cretaceous periods, atmospheric oxygen levels fluctuated but were often lower than or comparable to today's 21%. Dinosaurs evolved highly efficient, bird-like respiratory systems utilizing specialized air sacs. This unidirectional airflow allowed them to extract oxygen far more effectively than mammals, meaning modern oxygen levels would easily sustain them. The real shock would instead be the plummeting levels of carbon dioxide. The Mesozoic frequently experienced carbon dioxide levels 4 to 10 times higher than modern baselines. While this does not directly impact animal respiration, it fundamentally dictates global temperatures and the entire foundational food web, leading to a world that is significantly colder and more fragmented by distinct climate zones than the Mesozoic era, which lacked permanent polar ice caps. How dinosaurs would handle today's colder weather depends entirely on their metabolic strategy. Modern paleontology has firmly established that most dinosaurs were not sluggish, cold-blooded reptiles, but active organisms with intermediate to high metabolic rates, known as mesothermy to endothermy. Massive sauropods like Brachiosaurus and giant theropods like Tyrannosaurus rex relied heavily on inertial homeothermy. Because of their sheer volume, their bodies retained heat incredibly well. In modern equatorial and tropical regions, these giants would thrive because the warm, stable temperatures would match their biological needs perfectly. However, if introduced to modern temperate or polar zones, these massive creatures would struggle, as a 40-ton sauropod could not easily burrow or hibernate to escape a harsh winter, and freezing temperatures would likely prove fatal. Conversely, smaller theropods and ornithischians would possess a distinct advantage in today's cooler climate. Many of these lineages, particularly Coelurosaurian theropods, were covered in protofeathers or complex plumage designed for insulation. Furthermore, during the late Cretaceous, dinosaurs like Leolinosaura lived in polar regions that experienced months of winter darkness. These groups would readily adapt to modern temperate forests and perhaps even subpolar environments, using their plumage to withstand frost and snow. Perhaps the greatest threat to a displaced dinosaur in the 21st century is not the weather itself, but the landscape it creates. The Mesozoic flora was dominated by ferns, cycads, conifers, and ginkgos, while flowering plants or angiosperms did not appear until the early Cretaceous and only came to dominate toward the very end of the dinosaur's reign. Large herbivores evolved to process massive quantities of tough fibrous gymnosperm needles and fronds. Modern forests dominated by oak, maple, and toxic flowering plants might prove nutritionally inadequate or outright poisonous to their specialized digestive systems. Furthermore, grasses, which form the bedrock of modern open ecosystems like savannas and prairies, did not exist for most of the dinosaurian reign. Most herbivorous dinosaurs lacked the specialized teeth, specifically high-crowned hypsodont teeth, required to grind down the abrasive silica found in grass. A triceratops placed in a modern Serengeti would find boundless green, but might starve or suffer catastrophic tooth wear trying to eat it. Without humans to hunt them, fragment their habitats, or alter the climate via rapid emissions, dinosaurs would absolutely find a foothold in the modern world, but they would not reclaim the entire planet. The Earth today is a world of ecological extremes compared to the Mesozoic. We would not see a global empire of dinosaurs, but rather localized successes. The tropical rainforests and equatorial belts would play host to the giant sauropods and apex theropods, while the cooler, forested temperate zones would be populated by smaller feathered species capable of enduring seasonal shifts. Ultimately, dinosaurs would survive today, adapting to the modern climate not as a singular ruling force, but as specialized participants in a much colder, grass-covered, and biologically altered world.